In this video, I will guide you through the process of building an outbound AI phone call agent from scratch with no-code tools. You will follow along with me step by step and end up with a fully functional phone call agent. I will be using Vapi and Make, and I will also show you how to integrate it with GoHighLevel, as many of you requested. So if you want to start using or selling AI phone agents, this video is for you. This AI voice agent will be for an investment firm that I called Wealthwise, and will do the following. Someone completes a form on the website, and 5 minutes later, they will receive a phone call by the AI voice agent asking them more details such as the amount they want to invest or their investment strategy. So I click on confirm and my phone is going to ring soon.
Hi there, this is Alex from Wealthwise. I'm reaching out today to get a better understanding of your investment goals and preferences. Is now a good time for us to chat about this?
Yeah, it's a good time right now. I mean, I'm recording a video, but yeah, it's a good time.
Great. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me while you're recording. I'll try to keep our conversation concise and focused. To get started, can you tell me how much you're looking to invest?
Yeah, so I would like to invest $1 million. All this information will then be gathered by the AI and updated inside GoHighLevel at the end of the call. This allows you to do further optimization and automations like lead classification. With further automation, you will be able to move the lead to different categories based on the response they provided to trigger even more actions and automations. Calls can also be triggered manually on GoHighLevel for existing contact by moving the leads to the to-call category or adding a tag to the contact. Before jumping into the full walkthrough, if you're new here, my name is Donna and I specialize in helping businesses streamline their processes with tailored AI solutions. While I'm currently focusing on AI voice agents, I can also build a range of automations, whether through Make or more complex multi-agent solutions. If you're interested, you can book a free discovery call. Just click the link in the description. Now let's get started and let's take a look at the architecture with a simple flowchart. So the first thing is that we will have a form with the following information: first name, last name, phone, email, and opt-in. The opt-in allows the company to call the person for legal reasons. Once the form is submitted, we will create a lead in the to-call column on GoHighLevel, and that will automatically trigger the make webhook that will then create the assistant and call the user. So it will automatically trigger the call right here. Once this happens, then the AI assistant will ask for the information to the user. So it will ask for information such as the investment amount, the investment strategy, investment risk tolerance, and investment type. Once it gathered all of the information, the AI agent will automatically end the call, and you will have an end of call make webhook that will be called. This will automatically contain all of this information discussed during the call and will allow us to save this information on GoHighLevel. And then we will also set a tag to Vapi call ended to know that the call has been ended and that happened. And also we will classify the lead depending on the answers. In this case, we will go with something easy where we will simply add the lead in two different opportunities or columns, and that will depend only on his investment amount. So in this case, if the investment amount is less than 1 million, it will move the lead to the medium ticket leads. And if the investment is more than 1 million, we will move the lead into the high tickets lead. Just a new note after editing is that there is two other ways that we can also trigger a call from what I've created. Is that the first one is to add the Vapi call tag, and the second one is to move a lead from any column to the to call column. These two different actions will automatically call the webhook and trigger the call as well. Now that we know exactly what to build, let's go inside GoHighLevel and add everything that we need. So the first thing that we need is to create that form. In order to do that, we need to go directly to Sites right here, and then click on the form right up there. And now we can add a new form. So here I will just click on Add Form and click on Start from Scratch. And it will automatically create a basic form with the different information that you need. So in this case, we have the first name, last name, phone, and email. So we basically have everything that we need. And we can simply maybe click on the button here, changing it to confirm or something like that. And we can directly click on Save at the top right. And this will just create our form. Now that my form is created, I will go and create the pipeline with the 4 different columns that I described before. In order to do that, I can simply go here on the left and click on opportunities. Once this is done, I will click here on pipelines, on create pipeline. This will allow you to create a pipeline name at the different stages right here, and then click on save. I've already done that, and this is my pipeline right here, as you can see. So I have new leads, to call, low ticket leads, and high ticket leads. And what I can do is I can create an automation. To do that, we have to click here on automation on the left, and then here I will click on create workflow and start from scratch. So what we're going to do now for our first automation is that every time someone submits the form, we will create an opportunity to add to our column to call. And for that, we have to think about what is the trigger. So the trigger is like, what is the action that is going to start this whole automation? And that action is submitting the form. So here I will type form submitted, and I can directly click here on add filter. And what I will select is that my form has to be the form 3. So now I can click on save trigger, and it automatically creates here. And then I can add something that will happen once that trigger is triggered. So in this case, I will click here and I will say that I want to create or update an opportunity. And what will happen is that I have to select the pipeline. So in this case, I take my pipeline called pipeline, and the pipeline stage will be to call. The opportunity name, I will select the user full name, and opportunity source would be form 3, but I can pretty much add anything. And then I will have to select as well this allow opportunity to move to any previous stage in pipelines, and then I will click here on save action. Now I can click here to publish it, and I can also rename it. So in this case, I will call this when form submitted create opportunity. Now I can save that, and now we can go to our form and test if everything is working. So let's go back to our workflow and let's check that this is published, so it's enabled. And if I go back to my sites right here, and then I click here on forms, and I go to my third form, and now I can directly click here on preview and I can test the form. So in this case, I will add my name, my last name, my phone number, and my email. Now, as you can see, if I submit the form, it will say please accept the terms and conditions. So this is really mandatory in order to go further. Now that I select this, I can click on confirm, and let's go and see if my lead has been recorded. So let's go back, let's go to the opportunities right here, and then let's see that I have one new lead that is registered in ToCall, so my form is actually working. Now we're going to create our second automation, which will automatically trigger the call on make in order to trigger the actual call to the user. So to do that, I have to go back to automation and create a second workflow. So in this case, I will also start from scratch, and the way I will encode this is that whenever there is a new lead in ToCall, it automatically trigger make and call. And phone call, actually, let's call it phone call. So, and now again, we need to add a new trigger. So this trigger will be pretty easy, that it will be opportunity status changed. So we had a filter, and we say that in pipeline, when the opportunity moved from status, or actually no, this, because the status is linked with like open and so on, what we need to say is pipeline stage. So here we will say pipeline stage is to call. And now that I want to save the trigger, it says that there is opportunity status change trigger required opportunity status filter. So I need to go here and say opportunity status move to status. And here we can just say open. So now what happens when this trigger is started is that we are gonna automatically do a call to a webhook, and here we can put whatever is the webhook of make. So we're gonna come back to this later to be able to test it, but this is the setup right now. So in this case, I would just put google.com for now, but we will have to come back and change that. And now what I wanted to show you as well is you can add another trigger. So for example, you could say when there is a tag on the contact which is changed, which is added and is equals to Vapi call, for example, we can also trigger actions when this happens. So in this case, whenever we add that tag to the contact, it will also call the webhook and call this user. Now I can click here on publish and then on save. And now we're going to go on make and create our first hook. And then we will be able to test if when adding this tag or changing the opportunity status, it will automatically trigger the phone call and call the user. The next step is the make setup. But before that, if you like this video so far, please leave a thumb up and subscribe to the channel. I will be publishing more and more videos about how to build AI voice agents and AI solutions in general. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And I also recently launched my school community where you can access all my resources and templates, connect with other AI builders, and join live Q&A and building sessions. It's completely free for anyone who joins now. This is the first blueprint that you will need to import from the school community. So I will put directly the file right there, and you will simply have to go here on more and do import blueprint, and then automatically choose the file, and you will get all of this automatically created. So I will simply go through how and what to change in that workflow to make it work for yourself. And the first thing is you will have to set up a couple of variables. These variables are important for you to set up with your own Vapi account, Vapi phone number, and etc. etc. So the first thing is you need the assistant ID, you need the Vapi API key, you need the phone number ID, and is testing to be false. But is testing is basically a variable that allows you to not trigger the call, but still trigger the make webhook to test that everything is working without having to call the user and spend money. And the way it works is that right here at the end, you will have the is testing, and that will check if is testing is true or false. And if it's false, then it automatically trigger the call. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. But you can still see through the whole way what happened and what are the values of everything. So let's go back to the first thing and set the variable. The first one is the phone number ID. And the way you have this phone number ID is that inside Vapi, right here, once you create an account, you will be able to import phone number. And what happens is like you will create a phone number on Twilio. You will buy this phone number on Twilio, or that's what I've been doing here in this example. And then you can directly click here on import. And then here you will add the phone number, and here the account SID and auth token. Where you get these two variables is simply by going to the Twilio console, and in the dashboard you can see here the account SID and the auth token. So here you will just click on copy right here and right here. You will just paste it here and here, add the phone number, click on import from Twilio, and then you will get this view right here. So this is the phone number that I've set up. And in this case, I've set it up as an inbound, but we will use it as an outbound. But what we need is to have this Twilio number ID right here. So as you can see here, I will click on copy, and then I will go on my make, and I will paste it right here. Then the first variable is the assistant ID. And you will get that one when you click here on assistant, and at the top right here, you will simply click on copy assistant ID, and you will get that ID. And then the Vapi API key, this is something that you get by going here, clicking on API keys, and then you can directly copy your API key right here and paste it right there. So now you have everything set up, and of course you will need to set up is to true for now so that it doesn't trigger any call, and just test the whole workflow. Once the workflow is working and your assistant is created, then you can turn it on to false. So here we are creating a transient assistant. If you have any questions, feel free to ask it in the school community. I will be gladly answering any questions you have about this, but in this video I don't want to go through this because otherwise the video will be way too long. But here I will also set up a couple of variables, like for example first name, to be able to inject this data directly inside the assistant. And this can be also extracted from GoHighLevel as well once you are calling the assistant. So you can have a lot of information that you have inside your own system, inside GoHighLevel. Take all of this information and create the assistant with all of that information for your customer. This can be really useful if, for example, let's say the customer has already some information and you want the AI agent to be able to know that information. You don't necessarily want to use a knowledge base or any complicated logic, but you can directly put everything into the prompt. The only limit is that the more you put, the more it might make the assistant confused, and the more it will also cost you. So it's not good for a lot of data, but for a couple of lines or a couple of text, it's actually pretty good to do it this way. And that's mostly it. Like, then you will directly go all the way here and it will create the assistant and do an HTTP request to call the assistant with your variables. So now let's test our make webhook and see that everything is working. And the first thing I need to do is to click here, click on copy address to clipboard, okay, and then click on run once. So now I will also click on wait for new data. And now I will see if that is getting triggered. So I go back to my GoHighLevel. So I click here on webhook, and then here I will paste the URL of the make. So now I can save it. I can save there. And now what happens is I can simply go to my contact and add the tag and see if the workflow is triggered. So in this case, this workflow is started, and I can go to the contact right here. And here I can just directly add the tag. So I will select the user, click on add tag, and then here I can directly select Vapi call, and I can just say action name. This doesn't really matter, so it can be like add tag, and then I can click on add tag, and it automatically check progress, and then now we can see that it's actually processing. So if we go back here, we see that my call has been happening right here, and we can see that here it automatically created the assistant. So now we can see that this assistant is actually getting triggered. It's actually getting called. So I could simply turn the variable there to is testing to false, and it will automatically trigger the call. Now let's go inside Vapi and create our assistant. So when you are in Vapi, you can easily create an assistant by clicking here on create assistant. And then here you can say, for example, inbound Q&A or customer support and so on. In this case, I would advise you to start with a blank template and just follow through the different things that I have. We'll find all of the details of that specific assistant inside the school community under the course tab on the resource hub. You can see there is different tabs, and here you set up the main configuration of the assistant, which is the first message, what is the assistant gonna say once someone answers, and then the system prompt. So the first thing that you need to add is a brief introduction of what is the assistant doing. So in this case, this assistant is called Alex. It's a digital assistant for Wealthwise, which is a financial advisory firm, and you make outbound call to clients to gather more information about their investment preferences and strategies. Then you have the tasks, and this is like the step-by-step of everything that is going to be going on with the client, so like the script of the call. It starts by greeting the caller and then establishing some rapport, so asking if it's a good time to call right now. And then it starts asking the different information that it needs. So the first one is the investment amount, asking how much the user wants to invest. Then is the investment strategy, saying if the user wants short-term, mid-term, or long-term. Then it's the risk tolerance of the user, if he's more risky and aggressive or conservative. The investment type, what type of investment they want to do, if they are more interested into real estate, into stock market or cryptocurrency, for example. And then a summary of all of the different information. So here it will summarize everything that it has been asked before. Once this is confirmed by the user, it will go to the next step and explain what will happen next, that the user is going to be contacted by someone and discuss what's the best option for them, and finally conclude the call. So that's it with the prompt. It will be on the school community. You will be able to just get it from there and paste it directly here if you want to try it out and do some tweaks and try an experiment. Then the second thing that you need to set up in the model tab is the provider. So in this case, I use Anthropic, Claude 3.5. I find it pretty good, but it's a bit talking too much sometimes. So sometimes you might want to switch to OpenAI depending on what's the need. But in this case, I think it's pretty good. Then you have the temperature. If you want it to be a bit more random, then you have to increase the temperature. In this case, I just left it to 0.7, but we can even reduce it more if you want a really streamlined and strict process. If you want it to be a bit more flexible, saying different sentences, not always the same thing, and follow less the examples that you add right here, then you might want to increase the temperature. And then you have some other couple of things like the max token, per answers, and also detect emotion. In this case, this is just disabled and to 250. Then you have transcriber, which transcriber is how it is going to transform the voice of the client into text. And here you can set up the basic one is like DeepGram with language English, and the model is Nova 2. And then you have the other one, which is the voice, which is transforming the text that the LLM return into voice. And in this case, I'm using 11 Labs Michael C. Vincent because I think this is a pretty good one. Like, I really like it. And here you can select a model to use. So in this case, you can just select 11 Lab Turbo, for example. That's pretty good. Doesn't really matter much, but yeah, this is like the one that I've been using and that didn't have any problems. And then you can add background sound if you want, or some other parameters. I won't get into deep detail into this right now because it's not really the purpose of this video, but I can make another video if you want to talk more about how to set these up and what do they mean and how I actually decide which parameter I use for what. If you want this type of video, let me know in the comments and I will make it. The next one is functions. In this case, we don't need any functions or any tools. And then you have the predefined function, like enable end of call function and so on. This should actually be turned on because it allows the AI agent to end the phone call. And here you can say an end call phrase as well. And then you have the advanced tab where you will want to send all of the different parameters for the end of call function on make. So on make, you will have a webhook that is going to be called at the end of the call to receive all of the information from the call. And this here will be the URL of that webhook that we will see that later, how to find it and how to make it. And here you will have also end of call report to add because you want that API to be called. So for now, just add here end of call report. Here you will have transcript, hang, and function call. And then here you can also have a message for the voicemail if, in case the person gets the voicemail because the person is unavailable. So that's pretty much it for the advanced tab. And then the analysis tab is really important as well. We will see that later with make, but then you can click here on publish and the assistant is created. If you want to talk directly with the assistant, you can click here on talk with assistant and it will automatically call it inside the web browser. But if you just complete that, take the ID that you have here, paste that ID directly here in the set variable, it will automatically work. So now let's find out how to extract information from the call to directly have this information available on GoHighLevel. And first step is you will need to add what you need inside the structured data. So here you will say in the prompt, you will say directly extract the following information from the call if any. And then here you will add the different information that you want to extract from the call. In this case, investment type, which is a different investment type the user is interested in. So stock market, crypto, real estate, and I said that you will add a comma to the value if there are multiple ones. So for example, crypto, comma, real estate, or the stock market. Then the investment amount that the user wants to invest. Then the investment strategy that can be short-term, mid-term, or long-term. And then finally the investment risk tolerance. And then I can click there on published at the top. You will also need to go to advanced and add the URL of the make workflow. So to create the make workflow, you simply have to import it from the blueprint. It will be in the school community as well. And this is just 3 steps that are pretty straightforward. So the first step is a webhook, which is the one that you will have to copy the address here and directly paste it inside Vapi. So this is what I've pasted right here. So here you can directly paste this. It will automatically call the make at the end of the call. Now the first thing we need here is to create GoHighLevel. So hopefully there is an integration already happening inside make to integrate directly with GoHighLevel. So you will click here and then you will have to connect with OAuth and authorize the call and make to have access to it. And then here you will identify and search for that contact. So this is like a search contact on GoHighLevel with the phone number of the person. So this is just the first step that you will have. So here you just set one message customer number, you click on OK. And then here you will directly get a contact ID from there that you can use directly here. So this is like the contact ID I'm getting from this step. And then if I scroll down, I can set up some tags as well. So here in this case, I will set up the Vapi call, which should already be set up anyway. and then the Vapi call ended. And now I need to go on GoHighLevel and create some custom field to export and update the contact with this custom field. So in order to do that, I go back here, I scroll down, I go to settings, and then I will go here to custom fields. Here I have all of the custom fields for that specific user, and what I can do is I can add a folder. So in this case, I added a folder here called investment details, which is about all of the different information that I gather from the call. So when I click here, as you can see, I've already created them, but the creation process is pretty straightforward. You simply have to click here on add folder, then you add the folder that you want to add and say, for example, investment details in this case, then click on add field, add just a simple single line field, click on next, and then add the name right here. Then type, for example, investment amount, click on save, and then it will automatically show it right here. So now here I have my 4 different fields that I need to update. So if I go back to the make, I will see that my fields are here, and I can directly get it from the structured data. So here I can say message, analysis, structured data, and then investment amount, investment strategy, investment risk tolerance, and investment type. Now I can click on OK, and it will automatically update all of these fields at the end of the call. So before we go further, I just tried to actually fill the form and it didn't trigger any call on make. So then I went back into the automation and I figured that something was wrong. So let's go back now and fix that right now. So if I click here on automation, and then I see that I have my automation here, which is new lead in to call, trigger, make, and phone call. And what I figured out is that we didn't have the right trigger. So in this case, there are 2 triggers that you need to have. And the first one is the opportunity created right here. So what we want to do is, like, every time there is an opportunity that gets created inside pipeline and to call, then we're going to trigger the call. So that's the first one, and this is happening when you submit the form. It automatically creates this opportunity that then trigger the call. So this is the first one. And then the second one that we need to have here is opportunity changed. And this one is about when it is in the pipeline and when it is moved to calls. So this happens when you drag and drop the opportunity. So when you switch a different column to another column, then this is going to be triggered. So here you can click directly on save. And now we have these 3 triggers right here, which the first one is, as I said, opportunity changed. Second one, opportunity created when I submit the form. And finally, the contact tag is changed to Vapi call. So now let's do a full demo to see from the form submitted all the way to the information gathered in GoHighLevel. To see the full demo, you can go to the school community. Now let's get back into what happens after the call. So if I go back to the contacts right here and I click on my name, then let's see if it actually captured all of the different information. So as you can see right here, we have all of the different information that I've been saying on the phone. So I want a long-term, aggressive stock market and 1 million. So now what we can do based on all of this is that we can classify automatically these different opportunities to different categories. So for example, if I go here to opportunities, as you know, there's low ticket leads and high ticket leads. And what we can do is we can check, depending on the amount, if the person is a low ticket leads or a high ticket leads. If you are interested in adding some lead classification and other automation techniques, I invite you to check out the full tutorial available in my school community. It's completely free to join, and in this longer video you will discover how to seamlessly categorize leads based on criteria like investment amount immediately after the call. There are also additional enhancements you can explore. For instance, you could reassign leads to different categories if the AI assistant is redirected to voicemail and set up a follow-up call for the next day. You can further fine-tune your automation logic inside GoHighLevel to ensure calls are made only during business hours, automatically rescheduling for the next available time. Integrating AI voice assistant inside GoHighLevel can significantly streamline your business processes and save you valuable time. If you have any questions or if there is any specific use case or topic you would like me to cover in the future video, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.